Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Betty, and it's such a joy to have you here today. Before we get into today's important topic, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and say hello in the comments. I'd love to know where you're watching from. Connecting with you means the world to me. Now, let's begin. You know, there's a pain that doesn't show up on an X-ray. It's not the kind of ache you can rub away with a heating pad or ease with a pill. It's the kind of pain that settles deep, in your chest, in your bones, in the quiet moments when you reach for someone who isn't there anymore. Losing a spouse isn't just heartbreaking, it can be life-threatening. And what's even more shocking? Studies show that widows and widowers have a 66% higher risk of dying within the first 3 months after their partner's passing. That's not just grief, that's your body and mind under siege. But here's what no one tells you: you can survive this. Not just scrape by, not just endure, but truly live again. And today, I'm going to share exactly how. Because if you're watching this, maybe you're in that raw, aching place right now, or maybe you're worried about someone who is. Either way, what you're about to learn could save a life, maybe even your own. Let's start with the why. Why does losing a spouse take such a brutal toll? It's not just stress or a broken heart. It's biology. When you lose the person who's been by your side for decades, your body reacts like it's under attack. Cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes. Your immune system weakens. Your blood pressure climbs. Even your cells age faster. One study found that widowed individuals had DNA markers equivalent to someone 10 years older. That's the hidden danger no one talks about. Grief doesn't just hurt, it ages you. And then there's the loneliness. It's not just missing their laugh or their hand in yours. It's the silence at dinner. The empty side of the bed. The way you turn to share a thought, and realize no one's listening. That isolation isn't just sadness, it's a physical threat. Research shows chronic loneliness is deadlier than obesity or smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's why so many widows and widowers fade away so soon after their partner's gone, their world shrinks, their purpose dims, and their health crumbles under the weight of it all. But here's the hope: you can fight back. And it starts with something simple but life-saving: routine. In the fog of grief, structure is your anchor. When you're numb, your habits carry you. So today, let's talk about the first 2 steps to not just survive widowhood, but to reclaim your life. First, move before you're ready. I know, the last thing you want to do is go for a walk or stretch when your body feels like lead. But here's the truth: physical stillness feeds emotional paralysis. A study of widows over 65 found that those who walked just 20 minutes a day cut their risk of depression in half. Not because exercise cures grief, but because motion reminds your body it's still alive. Start small. Stand up and stretch every hour. Walk to the mailbox. Put on music and sway for one song. Your muscles will resist. Do it anyway. Grief is heavy, but movement keeps it from crushing you. Second, eat like your life depends on it, because it does. In the aftermath of loss, food becomes either an afterthought or a comfort trap. But here's the hard truth: skipping meals or drowning in processed foods accelerates the very decline you're trying to survive. Your brain needs protein to fight depression. Your heart needs omega-3s to withstand stress. Your immune system needs vitamins to protect you. So today, right now, make one change: add before you subtract. Don't focus on cutting out bad foods yet. Just add one life-giving choice: a handful of walnuts for brain health, a glass of water first thing in the morning, or a single piece of fruit with breakfast. Small, survivable steps. Now, I know what some of you are thinking: it's not that simple. You're right. Nothing about loss is simple. But here's what I also know: you've already survived the unimaginable. And that means you're stronger than you feel right now. So let's keep going, because the next steps are where the real healing begins. You know what's worse than the pain of losing someone? The silence that follows. That heavy, suffocating quiet where their voice used to be. It's in those moments, when you're sitting alone with your coffee, or staring at their empty chair, that grief tries to convince you this is all there is now. But I need you to hear me, that's a lie. Because while the love you shared can never be replaced, your life, your precious, irreplaceable life, is still here. And today, we're going to talk about how to fill that silence before it hollows you out from the inside. Let's start with something you might not expect. Your brain is working against you right now. Neuroscientists have found that grief literally rewires your neural pathways, like a highway suddenly detoured into a dead end. That's why you forget things mid-sentence. Why familiar places suddenly feel foreign. Why some days, just deciding what to eat feels impossible. But here's the miracle, your brain can relearn hope. And it starts with something as simple as sound. I want you to try something today, break the silence. Not with the TV blaring in the background, that's just noise, but with life. Open the window and listen to the birds. Turn on a playlist from happier times, maybe that song you danced to at your wedding. Or better yet, use your own voice. Talk to your pet, call a friend, even read aloud to yourself. Why? Because auditory stimulation triggers the release of serotonin, your brain's natural antidepressant. A study in the Journal of Neuroscience found that just 30 minutes of intentional sound therapy daily reduced cortisol levels in grieving subjects by 37%. That's not just science, that's a lifeline. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, people. After a loss, well-meaning friends often disappear, not because they don't care, but because they're terrified of saying the wrong thing. Meanwhile, you're left feeling like a ghost at your own dinner table. But here's the game changer, you don't need a crowd to combat loneliness, you need anchors. Just 2 or 3, grief-safe, people who can sit with you in the messy, ugly parts of healing. How do you find them? Start small. The grocery store test. Next time you're checking out, make eye contact and ask the cashier one genuine question. How's your day going? That tiny connection, just 10 seconds of human warmth, triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone that lowers blood pressure. The 2-2-2 rule, every 2 weeks, reach out to 2 people, a neighbor, an old coworker, and invite them for 20 minutes of anything, tea on your porch, a walk around the block. No heavy conversations required. Borrow someone else's purpose, volunteer to walk dogs at the shelter or read to kids at the library. Why? Helping others forces your brain to produce dopamine, nature's antidote to despair. Here's the hard truth, isolation after widowhood isn't just sadness, it's a biological emergency. The famous Harvard aging study proved that seniors with strong social ties had slower memory decline and 50% lower rates of fatal heart attacks. That's not a metaphor, your relationships are quite literally keeping your heart beating. But maybe the biggest hurdle isn't finding people, it's feeling like you're betraying your spouse by living fully again. If that thought just stabbed your chest, I need you to hear this, joy isn't replacement, it's legacy. The love you shared wasn't meant to bury you alive with it. Every time you laugh, every new connection you make, every morning you choose to get up, that's not forgetting. That's honoring. Which brings us to the most powerful healing tool of all, but we'll need to dive deeper for that. There comes a moment, maybe you've felt it already, when the grief shifts. It's not that the pain goes away, but something new emerges alongside it. A quiet question, who am I now? For decades, you were part of a we. Now the world keeps expecting you to be just me. And that might be the hardest part of all. But here's what the research shows that gives me chills. Survivors who rediscover purpose after loss don't just endure, they often experience what psychologists call post-traumatic growth. They develop strengths they never knew they had. Find deeper appreciation for life. Even form richer relationships. This isn't about moving on, it's about growing through. And today, we're going to map out exactly how to start that journey. Let's begin with the most powerful question you can ask yourself: what can I do now that I couldn't before? Maybe it's redecorating the bedroom exactly how you like it. Taking that art class your spouse would have teased you about. Traveling to places they never wanted to visit. These aren't betrayals, they're reclaimings. A study in the Journal of Gerontology found widows who made at least one positive life change in the first year had significantly better long-term health outcomes. Not because they got over their loss, but because they proved to themselves that life could still hold meaning. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room: guilt. That crushing feeling when you catch yourself laughing. The pang when you consider dating again. The voice that whispers, "You're forgetting them." Here's the truth your heart needs to hear: love doesn't live in suffering. Your spouse wouldn't want you to stop living any more than you'd want it for them. Try this exercise tonight: light a candle and have a conversation out loud. Tell them about your day. Share your worries. Then listen, not with your ears, but with your memories. You'll be amazed at what answers come when you create space for them. Practical step for this week: create a both/and ritual. Something that honors your past while embracing your present. Maybe it's keeping their favorite coffee mug but using it to try new teas. Visiting your spot but bringing a new friend along. Playing their favorite song, then discovering a new artist to love. Here's why this works. Neuroscience shows our brains can't actually hold grief and gratitude simultaneously. By intentionally creating moments that acknowledge both loss and possibility, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways toward healing. The final piece: future self-visualization. Close your eyes and picture yourself 1 year from today, not fixed or over it, but living again. What small thing is that version of you doing differently? Maybe they host a monthly potluck for other widows. Have a garden full of flowers they never used to grow. Volunteer somewhere that makes them feel needed. Your assignment? Do one tiny piece of that vision this week. Buy the seed packets. Email the volunteer coordinator. Text 2 friends about a dinner idea. Action, no matter how small, is the antidote to despair. I won't tell you the pain ever fully goes away. But I will tell you this: the day will come when you realize you've gone a whole hour without the weight pressing down. Then a morning when you wake up curious instead of crushed. And eventually, when you least expect it, you'll catch yourself feeling something suspiciously like hope. That's when you'll know you're not just surviving. You're teaching your heart how to beat again. And that's the most courageous thing in the world. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. What small step will you take this week to honor both your love and your life? And if you found this helpful, pay it forward, share it with someone else who might need to hear it today. Remember, healing isn't a straight line, but every step counts. Here's to your courage, your resilience, and the life that's still waiting to be lived.